Welcome to Rise and Shine Daily Business Tech Boost with me, Charly Leetham. If you're a small business owner looking to simplify technology and get real, actionable advice from someone with 35 years of IT experience, you're in the right place. Every episode, I'll dive into tools and systems like email, CRM, marketing and tracking, and break them down into bite-sized tips you can use right away. Your time is valuable, so let's get straight to the point. It's time to work smarter, not harder. Rise and Shine is your daily piece of business tech inspiration with me, Charly Leetham. I'm all in and out of the background again today. I am so sorry. It is the lighting. It's always difficult when I'm traveling. And I am traveling a lot because I live on the road. Anyway, I wanted to talk about episode number 390 today. I know I promised I was done with my cybersecurity series, but a few things have come up since I did that I wanted to share with you and discuss. And both of them actually came from my family. I had phone calls from I had a phone call from one of my brothers, and Dad was sharing something with me that we thought was a little strange. So I thought I'd go through them. Oh, and then I had one myself, actually. So three things that I want to discuss, all within my own family, all pretty much personal experiences. The first one was my brother was telling me that he was going to go and buy something online, and he did the Google thing, the search thing, and he found a supplier for what he was looking for. And the site looked good and it looked great. And he put it in the shopping cart and he hit buy now and went all the way through the shopping cart process. And he said there was something that just didn't gel with him. The site looked good. There was all the right things on it. But he got through the shopping cart, the checkout page, and he thought, something just doesn't feel right. He had that feeling. And if you ever get that feeling when you're checking out, you're probably best at that point to pause and at least get some assistance to make sure you're not going to get scammed. Now, he stopped at that point and didn't go any further. And I mean, I couldn't even verify now whether it was a real site or not, but he really didn't think that this was legit. And one of the things that made him feel that it wasn't legit is that there was a spelling error on the checkout page. Now, I went and had a look at the site that he was buying from, and I'm hard pressed to tell whether it's a real site or not. It's obviously a real site, but whether it's a real business or not, or whether it's a scam site that is just going to take your money and then, oh, well, you've lost your money, get it back from the credit card guys, because I'm sure that they rely on percentages where they just charge the credit cards until they can't charge the credit cards anymore. Anyway, so that was one of them. And he stopped at that point, and I went and had a look, and I couldn't see it. The second one was my dad went to buy something. An ad came up in his Facebook feed, and he thought, "Oh, that looks pretty good." Did his research. Yep, I want to buy that. Was going through the purchase process. It sent him to a PayPal checkout page, and it hadn't auto-filled, and he's got auto-fill for his username on his PayPal. He thought, that's really weird. And he couldn't decide at that point because you're in your app, so it's really hard to tell at that point whether you're on a PayPal page or whether you're on a spoof page. So he stopped, and I'm really glad he stopped, because again, we don't know whether it was a legitimate website. We don't know whether it was a legitimate ad. We don't know. So he stopped, and we went through another process of finding the same product through another provider that was reputable, that we could guarantee he was buying from the right place. In both cases, my brother and my dad had this feeling of something isn't quite right, something doesn't feel right, and they stopped. Even if it was a legitimate site, I would rather they have stopped and saved themselves a whole heap of hassle of having to cancel credit cards or reset passwords, and hopefully that then hasn't gone into that database on the dark web of database and of usernames and passwords that is out there. We know it's out there. So I'm really glad they stopped, but it made me think, because I'm like, well, how do businesses appear legitimate? How do businesses engender that trust so that when people are going through that process and they now have this level of awareness, and this level of awareness is growing, that there are sham sites out there, that there is sites out there, that there are sites out there that will steal your data, that will harvest your credit card details and store them off for later. How do legitimate businesses overcome this? You're doing business online. You want people to go through your online shopping cart. You want people to buy from you online. How do you engender that trust? How do you build that trust when you can't have that one-on-one conversation? When you can't actually say, yes, I'm a real person, here I am. Oh, sure, you can put videos up. Anyone can put a video up though, right? I mean, sure. But we're getting close there, aren't we? We're getting close to people buy from people. And then I was talking to one of my clients, and I'm rambling a little, but I want to give you this story because I think the story is a great way of getting it out there. They were speaking to one of my clients, and they're like, all right, well, we want to do this, and we just want people to come through and buy. We don't, this is commodity stuff. We're really good at what we do. We've got a really good name in our local community. We're just going to take it wider and see if we can get people more further afield to buy from us. I thought, right, well, what is it I look for when I go to a website? What is it I look for to help myself get to that point of, yes, I'm dealing with a reputable dealer here. Yes, this is a reputable site. Yes, this is not a sham site, or it's not malicious, or whatever it is. There's a few things I look for that I find many e-commerce sites lack. The first one is an about page. Tell me about your business. Tell me about the principles in your business. Tell me a story about you. I want to know who I'm dealing with. It's not foolproof. I can go and look at those and go, yeah, these are people I want to deal with. Better yet, if I can then take that and then go and check it on social media, or check it in newspapers, or check it in local business registers in the area to see whether this business actually, excuse me, oh dear, whether this business really does exist. So tell me about yourself. I want to know who you are. I don't just want a shopping cart. I just don't want an e-commerce site and walk in and go, just buy shit from me. Oh, sorry, buy stuff from me. I don't want that. I want to know who I'm dealing with. So make sure you've got information about you and your business on your website. I've said it before, I'm saying it again, and I can actually give you some really personal experiences here as to how that makes a difference. Have business information on your website. If you are an Australian business, have your business registration number, your ABN, on your website. At least then I can go and look up that ABN on the Australian Business Register and see whether it matches the details you're giving me on your website. Make sure the details on your website match your ABN. Make sure you've got the same names. Make sure you've got, if I want to go and dig deeper and pay to get an extract, I'll be able to get a little bit more information about your ABN. I can then go, yeah, this looks right. So make sure the postcode matches. Make sure your ABN is searchable. Make sure you're telling me about yourself. The final one, and this one came after I was talking to my daughter. It's funny, you know, I love my family because we've all got different levels of experience in this, but we can all talk about it at a level. And I was explaining to my daughter exactly this thing, like, yeah, this is what happened. And it was just, well, phone number would help, wouldn't it? I'm like, yeah, actually, a way of contacting the business that isn't just a contact form would be fantastic. Yes, you can use live chat, that's fine, but in this day and age, when you're not sure whether you're talking to an AI or not, live chat, it's not quite there for me. I'll use it, but I don't think that would be a credentialing tool for me. The ability to have a phone number that I can pick up and ring and speak to someone and say, yeah, are you a literally, are you a legitimate business? Is this your website? Is this what you do? Tell me about yourselves, and get that own feeling for myself. Now, I know it sounds like this is overkill, and it's overkill for a $10 product. Maybe it is overkill for a $10 product. But the point is, to me, it's not just a $10 product. It's my information. It's my identification information. It's my passwords. It's my usernames. It's my credit cards. It's access to my PayPal account that I'm giving out as I go through this process. And I need to be certain that I'm giving it out to the right place, particularly when we're going through apps on the phone. And it's really hard to see in the URL if you've got the right URL, if it's a sham URL or not. So you need to credential yourselves, and you need to be able to reassure people that you are who you say you are, and that you will do what you say you're going to do, and that you're just not going to scam someone out of $10 or $20 or $100 or $200, whatever it is. So a few things to think about as business owners when you're looking at your website. I want you, and if you can't do it, if you can't step outside of your paradigm, and that's okay if you can't, get someone else to do it for you. Have a look at your website and say, is this trustworthy? If I was going to land on this website with no other references available, would I buy from it? Would I make contact? Would I buy from it? Tell me who you are. Tell me who your business is. Tell me a little bit about you. I want to know who you are. Make sure that there's a way for me to contact you so that I can verify, if I need to, that you are who you say you are. Business information, your ABR, trading address, something that we can go and look up and say, yeah, that seems to be that business. That looks right. It's not going to go 100% of the way to verify that the business you're dealing with is actually who you're dealing with. That's always going to be a risk to us. But it's going to go an awful long way to helping bridge that gap. And honestly, I truly hope that our customers have a healthy level of skepticism about them, that when they come to websites, they're actually thinking these things as they go through. Am I dealing with a legitimate site? Is this right? Does this process feel right? Because if not, you're going to lose out on sales. Because I'll tell you what I did. I went to eBay and Amazon for what my dad was looking for, and we looked through there and we found someone who had really good ratings and all the rest of it, and we ended up going through there. Terrible, I know. Terrible. I could have actually the organization he was going to buy through wasn't an Australian organization. But imagine if you were an Australian organization and you lost out because it just didn't sit right. Anyway, that's my thoughts on that one. Personal experience for myself. I got an email in the other day. It was kind of interesting, that said, per our discussion, here's an invoice for $4,999. You took this service in January 2024. It's now January 2025. You took the service in January 2024, and your invoice remains unpaid. Well, first of all, I would know if I'd spent that amount of money and I hadn't paid it. I didn't recognize the company. I didn't recognize the email address. So, being me, I emailed up and said, who are you? I haven't had a response, of course. Wouldn't expect to have a response, of course. And then it got spammed. I just hit the spam button and put it in the spam folder. But that's as easy as it is. Here's an outstanding invoice. It's been outstanding for a while. When are you going to settle it? Here's how you can pay us. Always be vigilant. Be ever vigilant of what comes into your inbox. And just because it says something is overdue doesn't mean it is. If you do not recognize the organization who's saying you owe that money, go back and ask them who they are. Find their phone number, give them a call. I'm not saying just ignore them. Honestly, I'm not saying that. Sometimes you can. But I am saying before you make that payment, make sure you verify that you have actually incurred that fee. Alrighty, guys, I promised I was going to be over with my cybersecurity stuff. I've probably got a few more coming up that I'll talk about, because as they come up now, I'm just going to sort of dot them in throughout my podcast series. What do you guys think of that one? Have you had those experiences yourself? What do you think about websites being trustworthy? What do you think about being able, how do you, when you go to a website, verify that you're dealing with a legitimate website, not just one of these pop-up sites that harvests information or scams you for money? I'd love to know your thoughts. Leave comments wherever you are watching or listening to this video. You can send me a DM on any of my social media channels and I will respond to you eventually. Join my locals community, askcharlyleetham.locals.com. I would love for you to become part of the conversation over there. If you can, please remember to like this video, and if you haven't already, subscribe to the channel and ring the notification bell. I will see you guys all tomorrow. Bye. Hey there, thanks so much for tuning in to Rise and Shine, your daily business tech boost. I hope today's episode gave you some actionable insights that will make your business tech work smarter for you. If you found value, be sure to subscribe, leave a review, and share it with other small business owners who could use a daily boost. For more tips, tools, and resources, visit www.askcharlyleetham.com. Until next time, keep rising, keep shining, and let's make tech simple together.